I call Kamala Harris? What's one of her nicknames? Stalin, yeah. The Manchurian Candidate, or Manchurian Candidate. Why do I call her the Manchurian Candidate? Oh, well, let's go down the list of qualifications, as Harvey Korman said in Blazing Saddles. Let's go down our list of qualifications as a Manchurian Candidate. Father, Jamaican, nationalist, Fabian, socialist, Marxist. Dreamed his entire life of leaving Jamaica. I want to leave Jamaica, man, and making it to Berkeley so he could indoctrinate young Americans in the fine art or in the wretched art of Marxist socialism. True story. And you don't have to get that from me. You could just go look. There are newspaper articles out there. If you search for, what's his name? Harris. His first name. I'll get you his first name in just a minute. If you search for it and professor at Berkeley, you will find his page. And his page at the University of California, Berkeley, plainly states that he is an expert, if you will, in the writings and teachings of Karl Marx. And that, it's in the department where he taught Marxism. You teach state-sponsored control. We'll let you clowns out there pretend like you own it, but we're going to run it. That's one form. That's basically how socialist economy works. Socialists allow the private ownership of the means of production, but the state administers it and runs it. And in a communist system, it is state control and operation of the means of production, which always leads to starvation and famine and miserable people and tyranny and what have you here. But in any event, Mr. Harris came to the United States so that he could get his PhD in whatever wretched study it was, and so he could then become, he could school young American skulls full of mush and the wretched arts of socialism, okay? That's the fact, Jack. That's what he came here for, and that's what he did. Okay, so that's one. He did not come here to become an American citizen. It was not on the agenda. He never expressed a desire to do so. The jury is still out as to whether or not he ever actually did do so. Let's talk about the Hindu sorceress babe who was Kakala's mother. What did she come here to do? Not to become an American citizen. She came here because her mother dreamed that she would get a PhD, a highly advanced degree at some fine, schmancy, fancy American university and would return home to India to teach. Now, neither one of them came here to become American citizens. They did not come here to find a better way of life and to make it in this world and to take the citizenship test and do the Pledge of Allegiance and learn Francis Scott Key. They came here to take from us, which is fine, as long as you go back from which you go reap your horror on your country. Then they moved to Canada, and the little Kakala was born in Oakland, and then they moved to Canada, and then they decided that then he was offered a teaching position at Berkeley, and they decided to stay, and he left them, basically. In the Frank Sinatra 1962 film, what is the Manchurian Candidate? What is he there to do? The interest of who? China. In the Denzel Washington remake of the Manchurian Candidate, what was the Manchurian Candidate here to do? For who did he actually work? The Chinese Communist Party. Of course, it has to be presented as, she's a woman of color. No, she's a black woman. She's the first American. But she's not an American. She's not a natural-born citizen. Little Kamala, she was born here to a pair of foreign nationals who weren't, at that time, had not even attempted to become American citizens. And this is why, you people, why it's still pinned to my Twitter profile, why she's not an NBC and why it matters. What happened with Hateful Hochul, Satan's apostle? That woman and that dude were not natural-born citizens. Their allegiance was to freaking China. Now, you can sit there and go like, it matters. It effing matters. Now we have a case where there is an actual Manchurian who actually infiltrated and who actually, or is at least accused, of rigging the game and rigging the circumstances in the state of New York so that they would benefit the Chinese Communist Party. You know, this is what was contained in those papers called the Venona Papers that detailed the double agent lives of KGB agents who came here to the United States and were just regular old American citizens here. No, they were Russian double agents. And this is what Tail Gunner Joe McCarthy, Senator Joe McCarthy of Wisconsin, this is what Tail Gunner Joe was told. He was informed by whistleblowers at the time that there were Russian Soviet communists that had infiltrated the Roosevelt administration and had infiltrated and were running the highest echelons of power. They were seated at the highest echelons of power in the entertainment and industrial industries. That they were running Hollywood and they were running the steel mills, basically. They were running the big organs of power. All of this basically is proven out to be true, and Tail Gunner Joe McCarthy, was correct. People go, this is McCarthyism. Good, make the most of it then. They should have listened to McCarthy.